And then the aliens, rather than trying to explain math to the student the way that we would teach them, they just say, okay, we're just going to we have a perfect neuroimaging of their brain. We're going to look at their brain. Because we're so advanced, we can also do neurosurgery in a heartbeat, no danger, right? And we're going to rewire their connections in their brain so that they get as many answers as possible right on this math test, right? And you say, well, how could they know how to do that? It's like, well, because they were neuroimaging you the whole time, and they noticed that if they had tweaked this one neuron to not fire, you actually would have gotten this other answer correct. And so they basically just use math to go backwards, look across the full network, and reconfigure it. So then the student goes and they takes the math test again. Now they get an 80% correct because their brain has been reconfigured. Or let's say they get 100% correct. What's weird is that now you give them a new math test, and now they get an 80%. They do better than the 50% that they did, even though they haven't seen these answers before. The rewiring of their brain has somehow instilled knowledge, but again, it's very different from how you would say normally teach a student, right? That's how we're training these things. So we just, all we're doing is saying, okay, we want it to autocomplete as best as we can. We're going to change the connections so that it autocompletes well. It can do so much more than just autocompleting. In fact, there was a recent thing where I think it was Microsoft who was hooking some of their large language models up to robots and trying to get them to direct robots. The autocomplete is what it's trained on, but it's not really what it's capable of in the broad sense of capability. Similarly, we humans, what are we trained on? What are we optimized for? Spreading our genes, right? That's what we're sort of, all our complexity comes from optimization across a gene spreading function. But you would never look at a human and say, oh, it's not very dangerous. This thing just spreads its genes around. Like what's the danger here? Right? It's like, no, that's what we're optimized to do. But we do all sorts of other stuff on the side. And it's the other stuff on the side that is very dangerous when you're talking about things that are highly intelligent.